Here's a perfect training context. Ollie and Millie. Hey. Down.
Good girl.
Thank you. Good boy.
There we go.
So
There you go.
next up is we're going to be setting up 5 new places throughout the house for all the kids.
Right?
You know, and
Each of them
it's
have their
all
own
gonna
place?
translate over
Sarah's
for-
going to teach us
Yeah.
how to place each one of them.
Right. Oh, if I could train kids as well as I train dogs, do you think I'd be doing this? I'd be a billionaire and retired at this point.
Let's just say the coup that was staged to get the dog almost blew up in their faces, and the dog almost got sent back to Santa's workshop.
Yes. Whose idea was it?
To get the dog
To get or to
get
send
rid
back?
of?
To get the dog and
The
then...
kids'
It was the kids, wasn't it?
idea to get the dog.
Okay.
And then
Mom and Dad decided to...
it was a
We
lot
did
of
it.
work.
It was Dad was the last man standing
Uh-huh.
because Mom decided, yeah, I want to do this.
Okay.
So Millie comes along, and she got potty trained pretty quickly, but not yard trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not behavioral.
Lots of
training.
new landscaping getting torn up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Walks were dragging whoever was holding the leash the whole time. I don't know how she endured that long, but yeah. And
Jumping on people.
Jumping on
Right.
people,
Yeah.
barking all the time.
yeah, lots
Never
of face.
respecting when we called you.
Like that one
called
over
her.
there that's barking right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that one.
kind of
That's
like
not
that.
her.
That's not her.
That's not
She's
her.
right here. She's doing so good.
So, running to the door, guests coming over.
Running out
afraid,
the door.
Afraid of a lot of guests, particularly men. It seemed.
A fear of men, yeah. Irrational fear of men. The respect is there. She knows who's the alpha. She respects the alpha. She respects the kids, even though they're not necessarily the alpha. And she's now what the ideal dog is. She plays, she chases balls, she goes on walks, and it's not.
Right?
Yeah,
It's the whole reason you got a dog.
right.
Right.
She's
So whereas
comforting.
maybe it's time for a walk.
Hey, goofball.
and sometimes it's time for a walk, and she starts out
Right.
a little bit excited, but then she responds. So we know what to do.
I think that's the
Most
key.
of us know what
That's
to
the
do
key.
now to
You guys
pull it
have...
back.
Yeah, it's
You guys
not
have the
just
knowledge.
respect her, it's
Yeah.
respect from us too. We respect her and we understand what she's trying to tell us, just like she's trying to tell. We are trying to tell her.
Exactly.
It's now a two-way street instead of a.
After a couple months of having her, the thought of ever having her off of a leash in public freaked me out. I thought, how in the world will we ever get there? And we just did it.
Yeah.
And
And I didn't get any video of it. Dang it.
Oh well, let's try it again.
Right?
But
From the top.
But it's not just when Mom, who is her favorite, it's not just when Mom is holding the remote or is with her. It's also the kids.
Kids.
So we've seen that work. So that's kind of indicative of. I mean, that was the ultimate goal. Everything leading up to that, she can do.
Yep.
Place is a beautiful thing.
Isn't it wonderful?
That's where she is while we eat, and she does it. That one she's probably the best at, and she learned that really fast with a little bit, just a few trips.
Well, and it's been good with the whole place and learning that respect as well, because we have family that come a lot and they have little kids, and by putting her in place and having her, or even just having her sit in a place, not necessarily on her cot, she has a chance to calm down and understand and realize what's going on around her, and she can take it in without being completely out of control and scaring people or hurting people or
We've learned
getting
how to
us frustrated.
we've learned how to be firm with her, and she still comes back and loves us.
Yeah.
And firm meaning, no, and stay.
that there's
without-
rules.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
without having to raise our voices
Right.
and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's opened our eyes, and
I remember.
we'll keep her.
You'll keep her. I love it. I remember, might have been a third or fourth lesson when you invited a neighbor over with her little little kids. That was something that you didn't think you could ever get to, but we were able to do that
Yeah.
by your hard work. Because you guys, I wanted to make it clear in this testimonial that you guys did all the work.
Yeah, all these things
Yeah.
we're talking about it's not
Yeah,
Sarah with the leash or the
No.
collar or anything.
and that's
So,
the whole point. You guys are the ones in charge. You're the ones that are doing the training. Being goofballs.
Yeah, well, she's always been good at that.
Now here's the self-serving. Why did you choose Baker's Acres, and would you recommend us to anybody else?
Well, you know, when we were looking desperately,
Because we tried one trainer before.
we tried one trainer who was really close to us
Right.
geographically, and it was really convenient. It didn't work out; it wasn't a great fit. So we went looking, and we still tried to stay close because we knew it was going to be a longer-term thing. We needed something convenient, and we found someone, but timing wasn't right. So their first recommendation was Baker's Canine Acres.
Baker's Acres. Yeah.
And so that's when we called. We talked to Sarah, and it was, you know, our conversations on the phone very, you know, answered our questions. The concern that we had with the first trainer, you know, the technique, you talked us through that, and we've actually ended up, by the time we're done here, used that technique.
Use that same technique. Yeah,
Used
it was
that
just a different
technique,
approach.
And you helped us with a different approach, and so that was awesome. And so I would highly recommend it because I mean, what I noticed from day one was this wasn't I'll back up. The one thing I didn't want to do was drop her off for a week and then have to come back and try to be as good as the trainer was with all his or her experience, which I was not going to be. So I recognized early on that this was
Right.
it was about training us more than
It is about training you. Yeah.
so and I saw that right away.
Because who does the dog live with?
Us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and when my brother told me, he's been a dog owner for a long time, he said, just know that the only thing she ever wants to do is please you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so we have a lot of power, you know, and influence, and so training us was what it was about. So for that, I would recommend that to anybody. I'd
Yep.
recommend this program to anybody.
And it's just been like it was right off the bat putting us at ease. It was I'm not going to pressure you. You come up with a million questions. I'll just calmly sit here and answer them. And it turned irrational fears to no longer fears at all. It was like, don't even worry.
And we learned about irrational fears in Millie's context.
Rational and irrational
Right.
fears. We learned about it and learned that it was okay to have fears, but it's how you dealt with them, and take the patience and time. And then not only was that something that we incorporated, but we were able to translate it to her, so she then understood the communication lines better, and Sarah made that exactly that. It was a communication between the dog and us, whereas before there was no communication. It was just pure and simple us trying to dominate, and that's not what we wanted. We wanted to have a dog that was our pet, not a dog that we controlled and had strong-willed to do what we wanted to.
This has been a good learning experience, and we'll keep learning, and we'll keep enjoying.
Absolutely.
Really.
And call
And
me anytime.
We will keep enjoying and in being inspired by Sarah.
Oh, you make me cry. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.